My beloved soul, listen carefully because this moment is not casual. This message is not ordinary, and your presence here is not an accident. Something sacred is unfolding right now, and heaven is drawing your attention because your spirit is ready to hear what your ears could not understand before. There is a divine seriousness in this moment, a holy weight in these words, because God says your kingdom spouse has already been assigned. This is not a promise waiting to be approved. It is a decision that has already been made in the spiritual realm. You may have questioned it, doubted it, or even tried to let go of the idea altogether. But heaven never forgot what it spoke over you. What God assigns, time cannot cancel, delay cannot destroy, and confusion cannot corrupt. My beloved soul, before you move any further, pause with me in faith for a moment. Now listen, because the reason this message feels intense is because it is confirming something you have sensed quietly for a long time. God says your kingdom spouse has been assigned, not based on desperation, not because you were lonely, but because you were faithful in seasons where nothing made sense. You carried hope without evidence. You chose healing over bitterness. You walked away from what drained you even when it felt familiar. That is why this assignment exists. Heaven does not unite people randomly. Kingdom unions are strategic. They are released when two people have been refined enough to build instead of break, to pray instead of panic, to commit instead of run. My beloved soul, do not skip this moment, because what you are hearing now is not just about love. It is about destiny alignment. The delays you experienced were not signs of denial. They were signs of protection. God had to remove counterfeit connections that looked right but lacked spiritual depth. Some people were kind but not called. Some were attractive but not aligned. Some made promises but lacked discipline. God says He protected you from unions that would have distracted you from your purpose. You thought you were being overlooked, but in reality, you were being preserved. Stay with me till the end. Something powerful is waiting for you, because the sign you have been asking God for is already happening internally. Your spirit has matured. Your reactions have softened. Your standards have risen without arrogance. You no longer chase attention. You value intention. These are not personality changes. These are preparation markers. When a kingdom spouse is assigned, God first stabilizes the heart so it can recognize peace instead of mistaking intensity for love. That is why chaos no longer excites you. That is why inconsistency now exhausts you. Heaven has trained your discernment. My beloved soul, God says your kingdom spouse is also in preparation. They are not perfect, but they are willing. They have been corrected, humbled, and healed in ways you may never fully see. Just as you cried in secret, they wrestled in silence. Just as you asked God to remove fear, they asked God to teach them responsibility. This assignment required two people who could submit to God before trying to lead each other. That is why timing matters. Love released too early becomes a burden. Love released at the right time becomes a blessing. Do not leave yet. Heaven has more to reveal, because one of the greatest signs is the peace you feel when imagining love now. Before, thinking about commitment may have triggered anxiety, fear of loss, or memories of disappointment. But now there is calm. There is trust forming where fear once lived. God says this shift did not come from logic. It came from healing. You did not force it. You did not manufacture it. Heaven did this quietly while you were busy surviving life. This is why the assignment is safe now. You are no longer trying to be chosen. You know you are chosen. My beloved soul, understand this clearly. A kingdom spouse is not sent to rescue you. They are sent to walk with you. This connection will not replace God. It will reflect Him. It will encourage growth, not dependency. It will require communication, patience, and prayer. But it will not require you to abandon yourself. God says you will not have to beg this person to see your worth. You will not have to convince them of your loyalty. Recognition will be natural. Respect will be mutual. Peace will be consistent. If you remain till the end, the final word will change everything. Because the greatest confirmation is not that your kingdom spouse exists, but that you are no longer afraid of waiting for God's version. You stopped settling. You stopped forcing. You stopped romanticizing red flags. That is the sign, my beloved soul. Heaven assigns when hearts are ready, not when emotions are loud. Trust this process. Trust this timing. What God has aligned cannot miss you, and what is not aligned cannot stay. This is only the beginning, and what is unfolding now will make sense very soon. My beloved soul, listen carefully again, because what unfolds now goes deeper than confirmation. It moves into understanding. When God says your kingdom spouse has been assigned, He is not only speaking about a person, He is revealing a season shift. Assignments in the kingdom are never isolated events. They are intersections of timing, maturity, obedience, and readiness. You may have wondered why your heart went through such intense refinement, why emotions surfaced that you thought were healed, why old wounds tried to speak again. God says this was not regression, it was final alignment. Before heaven connects two destinies, it brings both hearts to a place where they can hold love without bleeding on it. You were not breaking down, you were being stabilized. There is something sacred about the way God prepares a kingdom union. He does not rush it, and He does not announce it loudly. He works quietly, patiently, intentionally. While you were praying for clarity, God was pruning attachments. While you were asking for signs, God was changing your taste. While you were waiting for movement, God was building depth. That is why things slowed down. That is why silence surrounded you. God says silence is not absence. It is construction. Foundations are always laid underground before anything visible appears. My beloved soul, your waiting was not empty. It was active in the Spirit. Do not skip this moment, my beloved soul, because this truth matters. Many people meet someone too early and then blame love when it collapses. But God is different. When He assigns a kingdom spouse, He waits until both individuals can hear Him clearly, even when emotions are involved. This is why God has been sharpening your discernment. You no longer confuse attention with affection. You no longer interpret chemistry as calling. You no longer ignore red flags just to avoid loneliness. This wisdom did not come from experience alone. It came from surrender. God taught you how to choose peace over excitement, and that is the language of kingdom love. There is also something important you must understand about timing. Divine timing is not about delay. It is about order. God aligns events so that when two people meet, they meet as themselves, not as survival versions. You were once loving from a place of wounds. Now you love from a place of wholeness. You were once seeking validation. Now you seek alignment. That shift is the sign. God says your kingdom spouse will recognize this version of you because they were prepared to meet you here, not where you used to be. This is why past connections could not stay. They were attached to old versions of you that God has already outgrown. Stay with me till the end. Something powerful is waiting for you because heaven wants you to understand the nature of this assignment. A kingdom spouse is not sent to distract you from purpose, but to support it. This connection will not pull you away from God. It will draw you closer. Conversations will not be shallow. They will be intentional. Disagreements will not be destructive. They will be refining. Love will not be confusing. It will be steady. God says consistency is the signature of what He sends. If something keeps you anxious, unsure, or depleted, it is not from Him. Kingdom love brings clarity even when challenges arise. My beloved soul, you may not know who this person is yet, and that is okay. God rarely reveals the full picture all at once. He reveals what you need for the current step, not the entire journey. Faith does not require full visibility. It requires trust. What matters is not that you see them now, but that you are ready when the moment comes. God says your readiness is not measured by perfection, but by posture. Are you teachable? Are you patient? Are you willing to choose understanding over ego? These are the questions heaven asks before release. Do not leave yet. Heaven has more to reveal because the enemy often attacks right before divine unions manifest. Doubt tries to whisper that you imagined it. Fear tries to remind you of past pain. Comparison tries to make you feel behind. But God says these are distractions, not indicators. Your journey does not need to look fast to be faithful. It does not need to be public to be powerful. Some of the strongest love stories are protected in silence until they are rooted deeply enough to withstand exposure. God is guarding what He is growing. My beloved soul, there is also healing happening in areas you did not realize were connected to love. God has been teaching you how to receive without guilt, how to rest without fear, how to trust without control. These lessons are essential because kingdom love requires vulnerability. You cannot fully receive someone if you are constantly bracing for loss. That is why God has been showing you that He is consistent. He stayed when others left. He provided when things felt uncertain. He reassured you when your mind tried to spiral. This is how God builds trust. First vertically, then horizontally. If you remain till the end, the final word will change everything. Because here is the deeper truth. The assignment of your kingdom spouse did not begin when you felt ready. It began when you surrendered your timeline. The moment you said, God, I trust you more than my own understanding, heaven responded. That surrender unlocked peace, and peace is the environment where kingdom love grows. My beloved soul, do not rush ahead of God and do not look back at what He removed. Remain present, remain prayerful. What has been assigned will arrive in alignment, and when it does, you will recognize it not by intensity, but by peace that feels familiar, safe, and divinely ordered. My beloved soul, listen carefully, because as this message continues, it moves from preparation into recognition. And recognition is where many people miss what God is doing. When a kingdom spouse has been assigned, God begins to train your spirit to recognize alignment without needing signs from the flesh. This is why you have been learning to sit with silence without panicking, to enjoy your own presence without rushing to fill space, to trust God without demanding constant reassurance. Heaven has been strengthening your inner ear. You are being taught how to discern peace, not excitement, how to notice steadiness, not intensity, how to recognize depth, not performance. God says this is essential because when the assigned one appears, it will not feel chaotic. It will feel familiar, like something your spirit already knows. This familiarity does not come from history. It comes from alignment. It is the quiet recognition of two people who were prepared separately by the same God. This is why God has been careful with your heart. He knew that if you met this person before you were ready, fear would have spoken louder than faith. So He waited not to test you but to protect you. My beloved soul, understand this. Recognition in the kingdom is not fireworks. It is clarity. It is not confusion mixed with passion. It is peace wrapped in certainty. God says when you encounter what He has assigned, your spirit will not need to argue with your mind. There will be questions, yes, but there will not be anxiety. There will be curiosity, but not insecurity. This is because God removes the need to chase when He brings what is aligned. You will not feel smaller around this person. You will not feel the need to perform, impress, or prove your worth. You will feel seen, not consumed. Heard, not hurried. Valued, not evaluated. This is the difference between soul ties and kingdom assignments. One drains you slowly, the other builds you steadily. My beloved soul, do not skip this moment because what God is revealing now is meant to correct old patterns. In the past, you may have been drawn to potential instead of character, to words instead of actions, to intensity instead of consistency. God does not shame you for that. He healed you from it. You are operating from what you knew then, but now heaven has upgraded your discernment. You are no longer impressed by charm without substance. You are no longer moved by promises without proof. You are no longer willing to carry relationships on your back alone. This growth is not accidental. It is preparation for partnership. God says your kingdom spouse will meet you in effort, not excuses. In prayer, not pressure. In truth, not games. As this assignment draws closer, God also begins to reveal areas where trust must deepen. You may notice moments where fear tries to resurface, asking, what if this ends like the others? What if I give again and lose again? What if I hope and it hurts? My beloved soul, these thoughts are not signs that something is wrong. They are invitations to trust deeper. God does not remove fear by force. He replaces it with experience of His faithfulness. This is why He has been reminding you of past seasons He carried you through. This is why He has been showing you how resilient you are, how you survived heartbreak, disappointment, and silence and still remained soft. God says the same grace that sustained you before will sustain you again, but this time you will not be alone in it. Stay with me till the end. Something powerful is waiting for you, because there is a misconception that kingdom love means the absence of challenge. That is not true. Kingdom love does not eliminate difficulty. It transforms how difficulty is handled. Instead of avoidance, there is communication. Instead of defensiveness, there is humility. Instead of withdrawal, there is prayer. God says the person assigned to you has been learning these same lessons. They are not perfect, but they are accountable. They are not flawless, but they are faithful. They are not without wounds, but they are willing to heal. This is why the assignment works. It is not built on fantasy. It is built on commitment to growth. My beloved soul, God is also teaching you how to receive love without suspicion. In the past, kindness may have felt unfamiliar. Consistency may have felt boring. Peace may have felt unsafe because chaos was familiar. But now, God is rewiring your nervous system. He is showing you that love does not have to hurt to be real. That stability is not a trap. That someone staying does not mean you are about to be abandoned. This healing is quiet, but it is profound. It changes how you interpret gestures, how you respond to closeness, how you allow yourself to be known. God says this healing is necessary because kingdom love requires openness. Walls may protect you from pain, but they also block connection. God is teaching you how to have boundaries without barricades. Do not leave yet. Heaven has more to reveal because the enemy often tries to counterfeit what God is about to release. Just before alignment, distractions appear. Old connections resurface. Temptations try to pull you back into familiar patterns. But God says your discernment will be your protection. You will notice the difference now. What is not aligned will feel heavy. What is not assigned will feel forced. What is not from God will lack peace. Trust what your spirit senses. You are not imagining this clarity. You are walking in it. God did not bring you this far to confuse you now, my beloved soul. There is also something holy about how God introduces kingdom connections. It is rarely dramatic. It is often simple, a conversation that flows without effort, a moment where you feel understood without explaining everything, a shared value that anchors the interaction. God says, do not overlook simplicity. Miracles do not always arrive loudly. Sometimes they arrive gently, and their power is revealed over time. This is why patience is still important. Do not rush the unfolding. Let trust build naturally. Let friendship deepen. Let God lead. Kingdom assignments grow best when they are watered by prayer, not pressure. If you remain till the end, the final word will change everything. Because here is the truth heaven wants you to hold. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not missing out. You are exactly where you need to be for what God is about to do. The assignment of your kingdom spouse is not something you have to chase. It is something you are being prepared to receive. Continue to walk in integrity. Continue to guard your heart without closing it. Continue to trust God's timing even when your emotions grow impatient. What has been assigned is already moving toward manifestation, and when it arrives, it will not feel rushed. It will feel right, and you will know, not because others confirm it, but because peace will settle in your spirit like truth finding its home. My beloved soul, listen carefully one final time, because what is being released now is not anticipation, it is assurance. God says the reason your heart feels steady instead of restless is because this season is no longer about waiting. It is about readiness meeting fulfillment. You are standing at the edge of something divinely sealed. The assignment of your kingdom spouse is not a hope floating in the future. It is a reality moving quietly toward manifestation. Heaven has already spoken, yes. What remains is alignment unfolding in the natural step by step without force, without confusion, without fear. This is why God has been teaching you patience without frustration and trust without conditions. You are no longer asking God to hurry. You are asking Him to lead. That shift matters more than you realize. There is a holy calm surrounding you now, even if your circumstances are not fully settled. That calm is not denial. It is confidence. God says when the heart is anchored in truth, storms lose their power to shake identity. You may still have questions, but they no longer control you. You may still desire companionship, but it no longer defines your worth. This balance is not accidental. It is evidence that God has finished the internal work required for external blessing. Kingdom love does not arrive to fix emptiness. It arrives to multiply wholeness. And my beloved soul, you are whole even before union appears. Do not skip this moment, my beloved soul, because what God is confirming now is essential. The ending of this message is not the ending of your journey. It is the sealing of your preparation. You are no longer in a season of becoming ready. You are in a season of staying ready. That means guarding your peace, honoring your boundaries, and continuing to walk in integrity even when no one is watching. God says what He sends next will require emotional responsibility, spiritual leadership, and humility. That is why He refined you quietly. Public growth attracts applause. Private growth attracts trust from heaven. My beloved soul, understand this deeply. Your kingdom spouse will not disrupt your relationship with God. They will respect it. They will not compete with your calling. They will support it. They will not demand access to parts of you God has reserved. They will honor the order God has established in your life. This is not fantasy. This is alignment. God does not assign partners who pull you away from Him. He assigns partners who walk beside you under His covering. That is why this union carries peace instead of pressure. It will feel safe to be honest. It will feel natural to pray together. It will feel right to grow together even when challenges arise. Stay with me till the end. Something powerful is waiting for you, because there is a final truth heaven wants to imprint on your spirit. The delays you once mourned were actually divine mercy. If certain relationships had worked, they would have cost you your peace. If certain doors had opened, they would have led you into compromise. God says He loved you too much to allow you to settle for less than alignment. Even when you did not understand His no, it was always protecting a greater yes. Now that yes is closer than ever, not because time passed, but because maturity arrived. My beloved soul, you may notice that you are no longer trying to control outcomes. You are no longer replaying conversations or overanalyzing possibilities. You are present. You are grounded. You are open without being desperate. This posture is rare, and it is precious. God says this is the posture that attracts kingdom fulfillment. When you are no longer chasing, what is assigned can finally find you. When you stop forcing, what is aligned can finally flow. This is why surrender always comes before manifestation. Do not leave yet. Heaven has more to reveal because the final stage of preparation is trust in simplicity. God will not always announce the arrival of your kingdom spouse with dramatic signs. Often it begins with something ordinary that carries extraordinary peace. A conversation that feels effortless. A connection that grows without pressure. A presence that calms rather than excites your nervous system. God says, do not dismiss what feels gentle. Some of the most powerful moves of God happen quietly. Loud beginnings are not required for lasting unions. Depth grows best where patience is honored. My beloved soul, remember this as you move forward. You do not need to rush intimacy. You do not need to reveal everything at once. Let trust build organically. Let consistency speak louder than promises. Let time confirm character. Kingdom love is not proven in moments. It is revealed in patterns. God says the person assigned to you understands this. They are not in a hurry to impress. They are committed to being real. This mutual understanding will create safety, and safety is where love thrives. If you remain till the end, the final word will change everything because here it is. God says you are not waiting alone. Heaven is actively involved. Angels are moving. Circumstances are aligning. Hearts are being positioned. Conversations are being prepared. Paths are crossing at the right moment. Not a moment too soon, not a moment too late. What has been assigned cannot miss you because it was written with intention. Your responsibility now is not to search but to stay surrendered, not to chase but to remain faithful, not to fear but to trust. My beloved soul, close this message with peace in your heart. You are seen. You are known. You are chosen. The love God has prepared for you will not require you to lose yourself. It will recognize you. It will honor you. It will grow with you. And when it arrives, you will not need convincing. Your spirit will rest. Your heart will be steady. And you will know that every season before this was not wasted. It was preparation for something holy, something lasting, something divinely assigned.